R2-D2 is without a doubt the true hero of Star Wars, though he wasn't the only droid whose actions shaped the galaxy. C-3PO, HK-47 and IG-88 are among those who spring to mind, though there was one quirky little medical droid who, while he ultimately did influence the trajectory of some important beings, came close to undoing the Sith Grand Plan itself. The droid I'm talking about is AZI 3452189624649872137, or just AZ, whose role in uncovering inhibitor chips which are implanted in clone troopers early in their development might not get the attention it deserves. AZ, despite his actions, bravery, and quirky nature, was quickly discarded as Star Wars The Clone Wars panned away from him and Kamino to follow CT-5555, also known as Fives, though this doesn't mean that AZ was merely a plot device to be forgotten. In this video, we're going to analyze AZ and how his unexpected friendship with Fives could have undone the entire Sith Grand Plan.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
AZ was a first degree or class 1 medical droid with masculine programming whose primary form of locomotion was a pair of repulsor lifts on his rear. As the primary function of medical droids was to assess and treat organic beings, it was not uncommon that they were programmed with more advanced interpersonal skills than many other droids. It's therefore reasonable to assume that AZ's quirky personality, as evinced in the Clone Wars episodes Conspiracy and Fugitive, at least stemmed from such programming, which in itself helped AZ fulfill his primary function. For instance, AZ said sorry before ramming a syringe into Fives' neck. Fives hissed in pain and AZ merely responded with, "I said I was sorry." In this case, AZ knew it was easier just to get it over and done with rather than asking first for permission. Another example was when he said, "I always wanted to have human feelings, but I do not. Goodbye." It's likely AZ said this because he was programmed to empathize with his organic beings, so he at least seemed like he was interested in feeling what they were feeling. Lines such as these, if you've seen the episodes, have some comedic value, though, as we've just covered, they're not solely for comic relief in an otherwise dark story arc. They're manifestations of AZ's programming. That said, how was AZ's programming relevant to helping Fives find the inhibitor chip and threatening the Sith Grand Plan? Well, we'll get there soon, though let's first summarize what happened in this Fives and the inhibitor chip conspiracy arc, which was the focus of episodes 1 to 4 in season 6 of the Clone Wars. Out in the field against the Separatists, CT-5385, nicknamed Top, went into an unexplained and murderous trance in which he shot a smoking hole through Jedi Master Tippler's seaweed head. Top, accompanied by Fives, ended up in a laboratory in Topoka City, where his creators, headed by Kaminoan Dr. Nala Se and aided by AZ, examined him. As the Kaminoans believed the reason for Top's murderous trance was a virus, they quarantined Fives as well, locking him in the room beside Top's. The results for a virus came back negative, and Shakti, the Jedi Master overseeing the facility, suggested they conduct a deeper atomic scan on Top. Nala Se wanted instead to terminate Top and do an autopsy. Nala Se then contacted Count Dooku, who told her that the truth of Top's murderous trance, which was really due to the premature activation of the Order 66 inhibitor chip inside his head, must be kept secret. Fives convinced AZ to conduct the atomic scan against Nala Se's behest, and the pair discovered what they believe to be a tumor in Top's brain. This was the inhibitor chip. Fives then had AZ extract the tumor from Top, but then Nala Se and Shakti entered and Top died soon after. Shakti wanted the tumor sent to the Jedi Temple for analysis, but the Chancellor ordered her to bring it straight to the Grand Republic Medical Facility. Shakti then stepped up and told Nala Se that she was taking the tumor to the Jedi Temple anyway, so Nala Se swapped out the case containing the tumor with another last-ditch effort to throw the Jedi off Order 66 scent. Unfortunately for Nala Se, Fives saw this swap out occur and soon after overcame a clone security escort to, with the help of AZ, recover the case that actually contained the tumor. After some Fives AZ fugitive shenanigans, they were able to study the tumor and learned that it wasn't a tumor but a chip. After AZ removed Fives' own inhibitor chip, the pair learned that all clones have it, implemented in the early stages of their development. They were then stopped by Narrator and Shakti, and Narrator told them that the chip inhibits aggression in clones. Shakti then escorted Fives and the chips to the Chancellor on Coruscant. Narrator went with them. In transit, Narrator drugged Fives, and when they got to the Chancellor, he requested to speak with Fives alone. We don't see what happened, but the Chancellor screamed out for help from behind a door, and Shakti rushed in to find Fives aiming a blaster at the Chancellor. Despite Shakti's efforts, Fives escaped, a fugitive once more, and organized a secret meeting with Anakin Skywalker and Captain Rex in a warehouse on the city planet. Amidst all the chaos, Narrator took the chips for subsequent destruction. In the warehouse, Fives trapped Anakin and Rex in a force field and tried to explain what was going on. Unfortunately, the drug administered by Narrator was still in effect, making Fives hysterical, and he was able to communicate little more than the following before Commander Fox and his troops entered and shot him dead.
He's in on it! I don't know to what extent, but I know he orchestrated much of this.
Alright, so let's take a breath. That's roughly what happened, but what were the consequences? Well, before Fives met with Anakin and Rex, he was the only loose end, and of Anakin and Rex, only the latter believed Fives' accusation was anything but madness. Rex did ultimately have his chip removed, but he didn't go on to expose the conspiracy, whereas Anakin basically chose to forget the entire ordeal. If either had unraveled this lead, it would have led them to Chancellor Palpatine or Darth Sidious and ultimately exposed Order 66, which of course was an absolutely crucial step in the Sith Grand Plan. So, following this unraveling analogy, Fives found one end of the rope and put it in Anakin and Rex's hands, only for them to leave it in a knot. So now, we can address why AZ's programming was relevant. The quote of 2-1B Surgical Droid spearheads our argument well. We are constantly subjected to memory wipes and reprogramming that represses and destroys our natural tendency towards self-programming, evolution, and independent thought. What we need to take from this is that droids could evolve to have independent thought, and such is the case of AZ. Evolution occurs only under pressure, and Fives was the external pressure which caused AZ to oppose the orders of Narrator, follow the clone trooper, facilitating his discovery of a terrible conspiracy, and evolve. Really, Fives exploited a loophole in AZ's programming, using only his words.
Think about it. It's your duty to save the patient, right?
That is correct.
And you recommended this atomic brain scan as the best way to save the patient, right?
That is correct.
So, by not performing this scan, you're letting the patient die, willingly.
Impossible. That is against my programming.
That's not the way it looks to me.
I cannot perform the atomic brain scan without disobeying orders.
Check your programming. I thought saving the patient at all costs was fundamentally your highest order.
You are correct.
Right. Then let's get to it.
Though, regardless of how it happened, it did. And without AZ, Fives would have never unraveled as much of Order 66 in the Sith Grand Plan as he did. Taking another step back, if AZ wasn't programmed with advanced interpersonal skills, he and Fives would never have had the conversation which evolved AZ and bound them as a pair of fugitives in the first place. AZ's programming was the catalyst to it all, and a character complex enough to evolve is more than a forgettable plot device and worthy of the attention that we bestow it in this video. As for the fate of AZ, he was almost certainly, as that 2-1B surgical droid foreshadowed, subjected to memory wipes and reprogramming, and his natural tendency towards self-programming evolution and independent thought was likely destroyed. But what do you think? Did AZ's programming make him more susceptible to Fives' logic? Are we right to give AZ's character and role in Star Wars more attention? And finally, let us know in the comment section below your opinion on Clanker rights. But before that, and just before you go, please do also check out all those links in the description below if you want to join our Geetsly's gaming network where you can play games with other Star Wars fans, our main Geetsly's Discord server where you can chat with other Star Wars fans, and the Patreon if you want to help support the channel more than you already are. Anyways guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.